Welcome to Get the Facts, the show that gives you information on the latest topics. It's summertime, and among the usual activities is summer school. This may be a bit more easy or accessible if your child has no particular special need. But what about those children who do? Here's hoping that today's program will provide some answers for them. Today we're talking with Associate Clinical Psychologist Marlon Simpson. Now he's the director of Loving Minds Associates and has worked with children with special needs for the past 15 years. Mr. Simpson is a certified autism spectrum disorder therapist, and he specializes in neuropsychology, working with children and adults on the spectrum. Welcome to the program, Mr. Simpson.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, let's jump right into getting some facts here. Now, summertime, summer school, parents are looking for an appropriate program. My child has special needs. In your experience, what are some of the greatest challenges parents with children of special needs face in finding and selecting an appropriate program?
Usually, two main issues. One is finding persons who are trained to deal with children with special needs. So it's not just somebody who has a summer school and can do that.
So send them come.
No, that's not how it works. And so one of the other things that's going to be important is having even teachers who understand each child, what each child's need.
Right.
So even two persons with autism, for example, autism spectrum, they may have two different presentations. So we want to ensure that each child is catered to carefully in these programs.
So the method to address, especially even that last one, is invest in trained personnel.
Right.
Not just people who are willing, but actually trained.
Trained, right.
Okay. All right, so what about the common needs? Now, I know that this isn't an exhaustive list, but you've mentioned autism, so let's use that as an example. What are some of the common needs or challenges that children with special needs like that might have when it comes to a summer school or a summer camp environment?
All right, so a lot of children on the spectrum, so autism spectrum, usually have sensory challenges. So either they are very sensitive or they need stimulation. So you'll find them either hitting their heads or they're covering their ears because something is too loud. So it's, again, understanding the child, what's happening with him or her, and then working with them. But in addition to that, you have to understand that a lot of them also act through instinct. So you can't just treat a child on the spectrum as any other child and expect them to behave in a particular way.
Right.
So it's understanding them wholly and solely, individually.
I like how you said that a while ago, and the training comes back into play very heavily.
Right.
Very heavily here. Now, okay, so let's talk about the activities then. What sort of activities or structure is useful for continuing this example, but perhaps you can broaden it a little bit for children with common special needs as we know them?
All right, so another example would be children who have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So some may not be able to sit still, some lose attention very easily. So finding a program where if a child can't sit still, allow him or her to run up and down for a little bit.
And that's the program.
That's the program. Engaging them. But again, it comes down to the training. Who are the persons there? Can they handle these kinds of behaviors?
Right. Yeah. Okay. And, I'm very curious about the strategies that these programs, you have to, in formulating a program, you have to think about all of this prior to the program, don't it?
Right.
It can't be an underground.
Oh, no. No. So the person who is doing the training or working with children with special needs has to have a background in understanding children with special needs.
Right.
But also coming to the fore is the thought that you have to engross yourself in the situation, understand the children. And so the programs are going to be defined or coordinated around these special needs. So, all right, so if you're going to be dealing with children who have autism and ADHD, fine. You want to have things where there's ample space,
yes,
play areas, You want to have areas where children can just express themselves freely. If they want to scream, let them scream. If they want to shout, let them shout. And not try to control or have too strict a set of curriculum guidelines to go through, per se.
Right, right.
Right.
And we've been talking about the trained personnel, and I know that some schools and camps, maybe even most, would have a mixed population. Maybe they're not all specialist schools. What ratio would you say trained personnel need to be in these schools? Like 1, 2?
I would say maximum 5 to 1. So 1 teacher to 5 children with special needs.
Oh, okay.
Because of the range of situations that you're going to encounter. So if we go back to autism, for example, there are 3 levels of autism. So one that's closer to what we call neurotypicals. They can go in regular schools. They just have problems with communication and speech. You have level 2, a little bit more challenges. Level 3, severe.
Yeah.
So even in that, it's figuring out who do we pair, how do we put the different children together.
Okay. Yeah, I firmly believe that you're giving some summer school teachers who are watching right now a lot of good info, maybe things that they hadn't thought about before. But let's talk from the provider's perspective. How do I, when formulating this program, how do I judge success? By what metrics should I be looking at to say, hey, this was good for them and useful?
Funny enough, I think that parents should be involved in some of these programs as well. So you don't just send the child and then you pick them up at the end of the day. It's, let me see what some of the activities are. Let me see how my child is responding.
Be there.
Be there. And engage with the teachers as well. So some of the curriculum activities could involve the parents as well. So when the parents go home, they can say, I can continue what my child learned in summer school at home.
So the parents get a benefit from the program as well. Sir Simpson, we're about to take a quick break. Please don't go anywhere. We are continuing to discuss summertime special needs and what we can all do about this.
Keep that smile on their faces and preserve their innocence. Cherish the moments you have with them and create the best memories. Let's inspire our children to dream big and work hard to achieve all they aspire to be. Take the time to listen to our children and really hear their side of the story. Our children deserve love and the right to access their basic needs. Do your part and protect our children.
Welcome back. If you or someone you know has a child with special needs and is looking for a summer program, let us help you with your search. Associate Clinical Psychologist Marlon Simpson is here to tell us what to look for. Sir Simpson, jumping right back into getting some facts, let's talk about a little bit more about the children now. How should I ask this question? How can we structure programs for these children in a way that it's not just a moment by itself, but actually works with pre-existing therapy or their pre-existing schooling? Is that something that we should be concerned about? And how do we address that?
All right. So if we, again, it's expansive, the amount of children with special needs, types of special needs.
Right.
So if we're looking at children with autism, they like structure. They like to know that the same thing, or there's a continuation. So I would say the summer school would have to get in touch with the regular school and say, hey, what are some of the things that you're doing, so we have a continuation of the activities. And then also engaging the parents as well.
Right.
Because structure is essential, even for children with ADHD as well. So how then do we allow for them to sit in class for 5 minutes, then get a 5-minute break, 10 minutes, then 5 minutes break?
So the general idea here then is it's actually not just an option, but quite necessary in any special needs to establish what has been taking place before.
Right.
On the part of the summer school. Okay, how can parents determine if a program fosters an inclusive environment? I'm looking at this flyer. And, you know how flyers are. You know, it tells you the date, the cost, and what. What should I look for that gives me a hint that, okay, this might be good?
You want to look at the persons who are organizing the event or the persons who will be teaching.
Okay.
What certifications do they have in that particular area? If there's any information online about some of the work that this person has done. So you don't want to just take up somebody who has an interest in children with special needs and just does the course.
Yeah.
Right? So even the staff complement would have to include persons who are trained as well. So even they're from different disciplines, they have to have similar training.
Okay. Should I as a parent be concerned about things like the duration of the whole experience itself, days? You know, sometimes summer school is used as that time to take over the child while I can maybe go to work or something. Should I look at all those things, how long classes are, you know?
Right, so that would be the second point.
Okay.
So the second point is, so once you know the person is certified and that they have the requisite training,
right,
then the person is expected to have a specific timeline which to work with the children. Usually the first day or two, so it would be flexible, I should say. So the first day or two, they're looking at, okay, the children that I have, are they managing the length of time? Is it something that we need to adjust as time goes by?
Right.
And then it would inform the parents. So having on the flyer itself saying, look, we encourage communication with our parents, so the parents are always in the know of what's happening.
Okay.
That's critical as well.
And I should look for a curriculum.
A curriculum?
I should.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is a question that's been bouncing around in my head for a bit. We could just not send them, right? But somehow it feels like it might be better to find ways to have them integrate. And what would you say to a parent who would be like, no, it's not too much work. Better than just stay home. And should I actually want to do this?
Staying home is an option.
Yeah.
But you also want to gather as much information as you can. And so engaging your children in these activities, summer schools and all that, would be really good resource center for you. So the internet is good, but then having persons who are trained showing you techniques that you can use at home. How do I manage a child when he or she is tantruming? These are things that come out in summer school that you will be able to see and then apply at home.
It's a good investment, man.
Yeah.
Good investment. Sir Simpson, I don't know if you have any success stories that you could even give us the outline of. You have anything like that you can share with us?
All right, so I find that when I incorporate parents into the therapy sessions,
yes,
it usually goes a lot better. And I've seen a lot of cases where when I bring the parent in, they see how I work with the child or the children, and then there's this big sigh of relief, like, wow, I didn't know that this was even possible.
Wow.
So because of confidentiality, I can't share a story, but there are definitely situations where parents just feel this sense of calm, knowing that somebody really understands and is willing to work with children with special needs.
Yeah, you find that parents would be like, oh no, you can do that, but I can't. Is that true?
All the time. But then I say, let's switch roles. I'll be the parent, you be the therapist, and then I kind of guide them through the process of how to work with the child. And then they're like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought it was.
I understand. That is wonderful. We're right in the tail end of this interview. There are parents who are watching who have children with special needs and perhaps might need encouragement that you are uniquely equipped to give. Do you have a final word for them?
My final word is, parents, come and experience it for yourself. Let us work together. I personally don't separate children from parents in therapy, as I said before. And so working with the parents, helping them as well, because they need the support.
Yes.
Their children take over everything. Every discussion is about the children, but I ask the parents, how are you doing? How are you coping? And so working with the child, I'm also working with the parent as well. And they finally feel that sense of somebody appreciates what I'm going through.
And on that note, you've gotten some very good tips on choosing a summer program for your little ones this summer. Take key note of what Mr. Simpson has laid out for us. It is an investment that is worth it. This has been Get the Facts, and I'll see you next time.